Okay, this is Johnny Boy at Fight Hype. I'm here with legendary trainer Ronnie Shields. How you doing, Ronnie?
Doing great, man. How about yourself?
That's it. I'm good. I'm good, man. I want to get right into it, man. I want to talk about David Morrell's performance. We were in Queens. How's David feeling right now? He got up. He had a great fight. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was a good fight. He could have. I thought he could have done a little bit better, but there's always room for improvement on every fight. But he. The most important thing is he did enough to win.
Definitely, definitely. He looked good doing it. Is he back in training right now? Did he take some time off? How things looking
Yeah,
with his
he's taking some time off right now, but he's scheduled to go back. I think November 22nd.
Okay. Who's the target? Do you guys have an opponent already or
I think he's going to be Callum Smith.
Caleb Smith? Okay, that's a tough fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what do you see about Caleb Smith's his arsenal? What do you see about him that
Well,
that needs to
I've
be
seen him
working?
fight a few times, but I haven't studied him. So, as soon as they make it official, that's the first thing I do. I go back and I start studying and seeing, what we have to do to win.
Definitely, definitely. Now I know David wants to get being in title contention. He wants to, fight for a title. Dimitri Bivol just recently had back surgery. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he'll be the same fighter? That's difficult for the, having that surgery.
Well, yes, it is. And I guess it just all depends on how long he's going to be out, you know. And if he's be out too long, then definitely things are going to change within the things that he's been doing, And, but, he's a good fighter, man. And, you know, a lot of times, guys come right back and be the same before they left. So, maybe the rest will do him even better, so he may even come back stronger. So it's just a wait and see thing.
I hear you. They're saying he's coming back in 2026. So what time would you think would be good for him to take off? Like 6 months, a year? What do you think?
Well, me not being a doctor, I have no idea. But, you know, but I'm sure the doctors have given him
Yeah,
a specific date that he can target so he can get his mind together, get his mind right. But I'm sure he wouldn't take a fight until till he's 100%.
definitely. How did the fight with Dimitri and David Morrell play out? How do you see that fight going down if they were to ever
Oh,
face each other?
that's a great fight. That's a
Yeah,
great fight because of the styles that both guys have, you know.
exactly.
And I think people would love that fight.
Yeah, would you be gunning for that knockout? To get Bivol out of there. He's a high volume puncher. He throws out so many punches every round. David will be down on the scorecards unless he matches that output. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, I mean, that's true. You either match what he's doing or hit him with something that can stop him to put him on defense a little bit.
Yeah,
As Canelo had that problem with him. And, this guy, he's a machine, you know,
definitely.
but you have to match what he's doing and, sometimes even take the lead. That probably can be a little confusing for him to do that. But I love the fight. I think it'll be a great fight, and hopefully one day it'll happen.
Definitely. I know the fans would love seeing that fight. But you spoke about Canelo. You faced Canelo with Lara, and a lot of people feel that you won that fight, that Lara won that fight, and people look to those type of fights with Bivol and Floyd Mayweather, boxers that can move. How do you see the fight playing out between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez?
Well, I think it's going to be a great fight.
Mhm.
And I've been asked this question a lot the last couple of months,
Yeah,
and I really and truly believe that Crawford has a great chance. Crawford is not going to fight him like school fought him. He's not going to fight him like Lara fought him. Crawford is going to be doing a little bit of ins and out, I believe, turning left-handed and right-handed. And for me, I think he's going to give Canelo a problem because Canelo probably going to think he's going to be moving a lot, and I don't think so. I think Crawford is going to practice, rely on his counterpunching abilities, and then start taking the lead and putting Canelo in positions he's never been in, in a long time. So, and I think that's the right way to fight Canelo. You can't worry about his power. You just got to worry about making him miss and then countering and being effective. And Crawford has all the ability to do that.
Absolutely. Do you think Canelo has slowed down, since the last time? And is he the same fighter that he was when you guys fought him?
No, absolutely not. Look, he's an older fighter,
Yes.
and no matter what people say or people think, you're never going to be the same from 10 years ago than you and today. We all slow down. We all are different, you know, and but Canelo is still a very smart fighter. He's a really good guy that knows what he's doing inside and outside that ring. Crawford just had to be more intelligent, and he has to take all the advantages he can, because he still got to realize you're fighting Canelo Alvarez. You're not going to get anything close. So he has to do more than Canelo to even win in and rounds.
Exactly. How has Father Time affected both of these fighters? Crawford is 38, Canelo will be 35 at that time. How's that been, Ronnie?
Well, you know, I think Canelo definitely been in a tougher fights than Crawford, but
Yeah.
you know, uh, but Crawford lived a fighter's life, you know, and he's he haven't been as active, I think, as he probably wanted to be, but but still, the experience he has, you can see him when he's in that ring. He's very intelligent, and I think that's going to go a long ways in this fight.
And Ronnie, what about the wrestling background of Crawford? He's physical. You see so many videos of him slamming people on the ground. Is that going to help him in his fight with Canelo?
Well, his wrestling background may help with certain moves,
Yeah.
but but he definitely can't. He can't headlock Canelo and drop him. you know, definitely can't do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but certain things, certain moves he could make that could probably throw Canelo off. I think that
And,
would really help him.
and what about the competitive nature of Terrence Crawford? If he plays you in a sport, he's so competitive. He plays you in ping pong, basketball. He wants to beat you. So do you think that'll go in favor of Canelo? He'll go toe to toe with Canelo at sometimes. You have to exchange. You have to take those 4 titles from Canelo Alvarez. They're not going to give it to you, like you said. So is that dangerous to exchange? Too much. And he got that dog, that pit bull in him. He's so tough. What do you think?
Well, he has to engage with him, but he has to do it smartly. He
Yeah.
can't just go in there thinking, I'm going to overpower Canelo Alvarez, because that's not going to happen. He has to use his speed and his defense. That's going to be the key. Making Canelo throw punches when he don't want to throw punches, making Canelo get on defense when he don't want to be on defense, and just slipping shots in that everyone could really see. You know, he has to take the title from Canelo. They're not going to give it to him unless he take it. So he has to bring out the dog in himself in order to do that. He has to prove that, hey, I can take your shots and I can give them back. Now, do we have the power to hurt Canelo? No, I don't believe so. Canelo has a great chin, you know, but he has to do things that nobody else has done to Canelo in a long time. And that's make him know he's behind in a fight, make him desperate like Lara did. Lara made him so desperate, he just started swinging just to try to hit him with one shot, and that didn't work, you know. So Crawford got to get, Canelo his mind in the fact that I'm behind. He knows he's behind. So, and then that's when he's going to make mistakes.
So if you were coaching Crawford, you would give him some of that Lara blueprint. You would
Oh,
have
no
him move
doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Absolutely.
and making Canelo pay every time he misses and counter
Every,
punching and
every
smothering
time
him
he
on the
missed,
side.
counter. Look, let me tell you something. When Lara fought Canelo, all you had to do is look at the final bell. Look at the corners at the final bell and see who you thought won the fight. You look at our corner, you see jubilation jumping up and down. You look at that corner, everybody had their head down, until they announced the decision.
So maybe it was like shock on their face that they got the decision over Lara.
Oh,
And
it
then,
was shock.
yeah,
Trust me, it was shock. It was shock on their face. They knew they lost the fight. They knew that he didn't do enough to win that fight, but he got a gift.
definitely. Now, if Terrence Crawford was to be successful, Ronnie, where do we place him in the all-time greats? A lot of people are saying he's right behind Sugar Ray Robinson, but these are those young people that don't really know about fighters from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 20s. You
Yeah,
know, where do
it's
we
just
where do we rank Terrence Crawford if he was to beat Canelo Alvarez in impressive fashion, not an Errol Spence type of performance,
right.
but decisively? Where would we place him?
You know what? I don't know, man, because if you're to be Canelo, say 5 years ago, then I could say you could jump him up really high.
Okay.
At this moment, at this point of their careers, no, can't do that because this is not the Canelo of 5 years ago. This Canelo is older, and he's not apt to throw as many punches as he would have 5 years ago. He's not that guy. So I don't think you can really jump Crawford up that high because there's still so many fighters that has beaten the best out there. And the longest line. I mean, the line is long.
Exactly. But I'll put it this way. Canelo probably has one of the best chins in boxing, if not the best, right? If
Yes.
Crawford was to get a knockout, how do we rate that? Is it
Oh, then
Father
you jump.
Time?
Then you jump him up high. You jump him up really high. Then
Okay.
you jump him up real high. If he does
Okay.
that,
Top 10? He'll be in top 10, maybe?
I would say top 15.
Okay. I respect that. I respect that. Well, Ronnie, man, it's always a pleasure having you here, man. We look forward to seeing you in camp. I got to get down there to Houston. I got to come check you out again. But thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you, Johnny boy.
That's it. You already know it's
Have a
better.
good one, man.